I want you to picture this for a second. You're walking out of the grocery store late at night. The parking lot is quiet, just a few cars scattered around. You're carrying your bags, maybe thinking about what you're making for dinner, and then suddenly someone rushes you. Your body reacts before your brain even catches up. Your heart is racing, your vision narrows, and your hands, they just don't work the way they should. You're in fight or flight mode, whether you're ready for it or not. Welcome back to the Range of Reality podcast. I'm your host, Jody Salerno, and today we're diving into what really happens during violent encounters and the aftermath that nobody talks about. I'm not here to scare you or tell you a Hollywood shootout story. My goal is to help you understand what's going on inside your body and in your mind in those moments, what you can actually do to survive, and then how to handle the aftermath, the part most people don't even think about. What your body and mind do under extreme stress. How to make life or death decisions when everything feels like chaos. And what comes after the 911 call, the police interaction, the emotional and financial consequences. By the end, you won't just understand what happens in those moments. You'll walk away with practical steps to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your future. Not theory, not what-if scenarios, but actual steps that could save your life or keep you out of prison. So let's jump in. Let's start with those first few seconds when a threat appears. What's going on inside your body? You don't get to mentally prepare in the moment. Your brain and body react before your conscious mind catches up. Biologically, the little alarm system in your brain, the amygdala, takes over. It flips the switch and your whole body goes into survival mode. It tells your body, run or fight now. Your adrenal glands dump adrenaline into your system, your heart rate spikes, and your blood gets pulled away from your fingertips and skin and pushed into your big muscles. You can run faster and you can fight harder, but the trade-off is that your hands feel like blocks of ice. You lose the ability to do tiny, delicate tasks because your fingers and small muscles get clumsy. That's why people talk about fumbling keys, they can't open a door, or they have a hard time dialing 911 when it matters most. Endorphins jump in too. They're like natural painkillers. So you might be bleeding and not even feel it. That's why so many people say later, I didn't even realize I was hit until the adrenaline wore off. An everyday example would be you might be trying to open your car door with groceries in both hands. If someone lunges at you, suddenly your hands aren't cooperating. That's not you failing, that's physiology. So a simple safety tip would be practice opening your car door, dropping bags, and moving with one hand. Make basic motor skills natural. The next thing you're going to notice is tunnel vision and auditory exclusion. This is one people don't believe until it happens. Normally, you've got about 200 degrees of vision. Under stress, your vision narrows to the very center. You lose peripheral sight. It keeps you locked on the immediate threat, but it blinds you to secondary dangers, like an accomplice approaching from the side. In hearing, your brain mutes sounds. That's auditory exclusion. Your brain literally shuts down the sound because it doesn't think it's important for survival. And the downside, you might not hear your own shots. You might miss the sound of police arriving or people yelling. That's why so many survivors say, it was like I was in a bubble, or officers describe hearing a pop when firing, and some hear nothing. So imagine someone grabs your backpack in a crowd. You might lock onto their hands and miss the second person slipping past you, or you won't hear someone shouting police behind you. That's tunnel vision and auditory exclusion. So a practice drill, look through a paper towel tube and have a friend move around you. Practice scanning out and then coming back. This is a simple drill that's very humbling. Then there's memory. This is where things get messy. Many report memory gaps, not remembering making a phone call or recall seeing things that never happened. That's how powerful stress can be. Under stress, your brain scrapbook, your hippocampus, the part of your brain that files experiences into long-term memory, can shut down or misfire. It might discard details, and some details never get stored at all. That's why survivors often say, I don't remember that part. Or worse, it will pull images from your subconscious and log something from the subconscious as if it really happened. That's a false memory. You might forget entire chunks of the event. You might remember things that didn't actually occur. Witnesses, even officers, can give completely different accounts of the same event. This matters because in the aftermath, investigators, attorneys, and even juries are going to scrutinize every detail you say. If your story shifts because of memory gaps, it looks like you're lying, when in reality, your brain was just overwhelmed. And that's why self-defense experts and attorneys will stress, don't give detailed statements immediately. Wait at least 48 to 72 hours for your brain chemistry to settle and your memory to stabilize. Your survival depends on it, but so might your freedom. An everyday example would be an eyewitness insists they saw the attacker wearing red, but later footage shows blue. Distress distorts recall. So my advice, avoid giving long, detailed statements immediately. Wait. Let your brain settle 48 to 72 hours before detailed interviews. And then there's the freeze. That's your brain running out of options. It doesn't have a program to run, so it stalls. Freezing happens when your brain can't pull up a practiced response. Your conscious mind is offline, and without training, your body doesn't know what to do next. That's the reality of your body under stress. Adrenaline, tunnel vision, hearing loss, memory gaps, and the risk of freezing. None of it makes you weak. It just makes you human. But training can flip the script, so those natural reactions don't control you. You control them. So how can training stimulate stress so you don't freeze when it matters most? Here are some examples that you can try at home. The cold water drill. Soak your hands in ice water for a minute, and then try unlocking a door or dialing 911, or even racking the slide on your firearm. Feel how clumsy you become, and then train through it. A tunnel vision drill would be look through a paper towel tube and try to track someone moving around. Practice breaking focus and scanning wider. Do burpees, sprints, or stairs until your heart rate is up. Then practice reloading, unlocking, or giving a strong verbal command. And do scenario role plays. Practice being startled, issuing a command voice, or even doing simunition drills if you have access to a shoot house. The goal isn't to be fearless, it's to be familiar. When adrenaline hits, you want your body to say, I know this, I've been here before. And now let's talk about the fight itself. Now that we've covered what happens inside your body in those first few seconds, let's talk about what you actually do in the middle of a violent encounter. This is where decisions matter. Your body may be in fight or flight autopilot, but your training and preparation can steer what happens next. The first step is recognizing the threat for what it is. Too many people freeze in denial, thinking this can't be happening to me. But by the time they accept this as reality, the window to act is gone. The faster you recognize, the faster you can move. And movement is key. Step off the line of attack. A large lateral step can buy you precious seconds. Imagine someone charging straight at you. If you move sideways, they have to adjust, and that hesitation can save your life. Movement equals time, and time can be survival. So let me ask you, if someone rushed you right now, would you recognize it as a threat quickly enough to move, or would you pause in disbelief? The second step is your command voice. Your voice is a powerful defensive weapon, not a shaky plea, but a command voice. I don't mean yelling from your throat. I mean deep, diaphragm-powered voice. Use short, direct phrases. Stay back, drop it, get away from me. These words do three things. They tell the attacker you're not an easy prey, they draw attention from witnesses, and they document your intent, because witnesses will repeat your words verbatim. Those words can come back to haunt you in court. If you yell, I'm going to kill you, guess what the cops and jury will hear later? That you were out for blood. So keep it clean and keep it forceful. An everyday example would be you're in a parking lot and someone approaches aggressively. A loud, confident back off can attract neighbors and deter them. So let me ask you, if you had to shout now, would your voice be firm or shaky? And evaluate your options. You've got a whole force continuum. You've got choices. Your job is to pick the one that gets you safe fastest. The first one is always going to be escape. Escape if you can. If you can run or drive, do it. You want to prioritize survival over pride. Barriers. Put a barrier between you and them. Close a car door. Put shelving between you and an attacker in a store. Use your purse or a bag as a shield. Even a chair or a shopping cart can slow someone down. And non-lethal tools. Sometimes just exposing your defensive tools, such as pepper spray, can end it right there. Criminals don't want to get sprayed. So pepper spray, personal alarm, a flashlight, Kubotan, keys between your fingers, a heavy water bottle. These can stop or distract an attacker long enough to escape. What tools are you carrying and could you reach them? And have you practiced using them? And if you are going to carry a firearm, drawing your firearm shows you mean business. If you are going to draw your firearm, you need to use it. And that's also the very last resort. Using lethal force is when there is no other choice but to save your life. If lethal force becomes the only option, the goal is stopping the attack. Aim for high center chest. You're trying to hit vital organs. But remember, in lower risk, everyday scenarios, we're usually talking about non-lethal tools and escape. And here's the hardest rule of all. You must stop the second the threat ends. If the attacker drops the weapon, runs away, or collapses, you must stop. If you keep shooting, it's no longer self-defense. That's the line between survival and a prison sentence. Continuing turns self-defense into revenge and becomes criminal. So control your emotions. The fight itself is about discipline. It's about survival, not ego. It's not about winning, it's about living. And that means making smart choices in the moment. Fear and anger will push poor decisions. Your aim is discipline under pressure. Make choices that keep you and your loved ones safe, not choices that satisfy anger. So an everyday example would be someone lunges, you push them away and they run. If you chase them down and hurt them, you've escalated and complicated your legal standing. So let me ask you, have you mentally rehearsed when you would stop, or have you only rehearsed when you would start? Most real encounters are won by good decisions, not bravery. So move, yell, use what you have, and get away. If it does come to shooting, remember, it's not about paper bullseye. It's about defensive accuracy. You want to aim for high center chest for organs. You want to stop the threat. And here's the hard truth. Once you pull the trigger, everything changes. Legally, emotionally, and financially. So you need to know you had no other choice. And let's talk about the aftermath. The fight may be over, but in many ways, the hardest part is just beginning. Your first priority is to get safe. Make sure that there isn't another attacker. Then check yourself and anyone with you. Remember that adrenaline can hide pain. You could be bleeding and not even know it. And if you can, start emergency first aid. Blood loss is the #1 preventable cause of death in violent encounters. Do you know how to stop bleeding if it was you or a loved one? Now the phone call. Your first call is going to be 911, but here's the rule. Less is more. Keep it short. Say, my name is, I need to report an attack at, and tell the location. The attacker ran away or the attacker is down. Describe what you're wearing so that when the police show up, they know who you are. Say, I have a permit to carry. I'll place my firearm on the ground before police arrive. Then hang up. You are being recorded. Remember that. State your name, your location, what you're wearing, and what happened in the simplest terms. Your second call is to your lawyer. Call your lawyer immediately. If you can't reach them, leave a message. Getting counsel early matters. Your third phone call is going to be to your family. Tell them a short script. I've been in a defensive incident. Please don't talk to anyone. And let me ask you this, do you have your lawyer's number in your phone right now? Or would you waste your time scrambling? And when police arrive, your goal is to not get shot. They don't know who the bad guy is. They're on high alert. They must assume the worst case. Your job is to be unmistakably cooperative and non-threatening. You want to holster or place your defensive tool where they can see it before they approach. You want to keep your hands visible and high. Don't make any sudden movements and follow their commands without argument. And when they start asking questions, stick to this 4-part statement. I was attacked. There's the evidence. Those are the witnesses. I've called my lawyer and I'd be happy to talk to you further once they arrive. Then stop. No more talking. The only words you say after that are, I want my lawyer and I invoke my right to remain silent. We have a saying in the industry, lawyer up and shut up. Remember those two phrases. So let me ask you, if police showed up right now, would you know exactly what to say? Or would you spill everything out of fear and adrenaline? And people often post what happened on social media right away. Don't do that. Social posts can be evidence and used against you. Here's the hard reality. Even if you did everything right, you may still be arrested, and you probably will be until they figure everything out. You may face trial, you may get sued, and emotionally, you may replay the moment over and over, wondering if you did the right thing. Some people carry guilt for years. Others face nightmares, PTSD, or they experience strain on their families. This isn't to scare you, it's to prepare you. If you think about these steps now, you won't be blindsided later. So surviving the encounter is more than just about having a weapon. It's about recognizing the threat quickly, moving decisively, using your voice, evaluating every option, and only using deadly force when absolutely necessary. And then it's about stopping the very moment the threat is over. But the fight doesn't end there. The aftermath can be just as dangerous, legally, emotionally, and financially. So let me ask you, if you had to defend yourself legally tomorrow, do you have the financial and emotional support in place? And if not, who could you call? Survival includes recovery. So don't skip medical care even if you feel fine. Pain can show up later. Get trauma support and don't isolate. Share with people who will listen without judgment. Keep documentation, names of witnesses, photos at the crime scene, records of medical treatment. Give your lawyer everything. And you may not be celebrated as a hero. You may even be criticized. That's hard, but if you and your people are alive, that's the result that matters. Handle the aftermath with patience, planning, and support. So let's recap. Your body will do what it's built to do under stress. That's normal. The difference between strategy and survival is preparation. Small, practiced actions, a calm command voice, knowing your defensive tools, moving away from danger, and then handling the aftermath like a plan. If you took one thing from today, let it be this. Practical preparation beats panic. Practice the simple drills. Carry tools if they fit your life, and have the after-incident plan, lawyer, family script, and a support system. If this episode gave you tools you didn't have before, share it with someone you care about. And if you want step-by-step training to go deeper, check out rangeofreality.com, where I share drills, and download your free after and encounter checklist to make sure you're not just listening, but living prepared. Remember, survival is more than making it through the moment. It's making it through the aftermath stronger, wiser, and prepared. Thanks for joining me on the Range of Reality podcast. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and remember, your life is worth protecting.
I'd like to tell you about my sponsor. It's my sponsors that allow me to do this podcast, so please support them. If you ever have to defend yourself, the fight doesn't end when the threat is gone. Legal trouble, court cost, lost wages, it all adds up fast.
And that's where the United States Concealed Carry Association comes in.
They provide award-winning self-defense training and education, but more than that, they've secured liability insurance for their members that helps cover bail, legal fees, and other critical costs after an incident. So if you care about protecting what matters, visit
usconcealedcarry.com
and see why peace of mind is part of being prepared.